We've always had room in our hearts for film and TV, not just on Netflix, but tape and disc and theaters. Also, God forbid that they take it all away and leave us nothing to broadcast to loyal listeners. We'll binge watch every single movie, so you don't have to. What else are we here for? Coming to you every week. Listen to us while you're busy. Luckily, we forgot to grow up. Hey everybody, it's Craig.
Hey, it's Scott.
Hey, it's Andrew.
Welcome to episode number 46 of the Forgot to Grow Up podcast, the episode where we took antihistamines, and hopefully they were non-drowsy, and then we talked about summer blockbuster movies, which actually, this is the one time our subject actually works out kind of good, because some people have summer allergies, and now we're going to talk about summer movies.
Boom.
Where there is no pollen. Unless you're at a drive-in.
That's what I was just thinking. I'm like, let's see, you
Yep.
gotta drive in and you crack the window a little bit because you want to breeze, because you don't want to run your AC.
Exactly. So maybe don't go to the drive-in now.
Or when you listen to this.
Or don't listen to this at the drive-in unless you really want to. I'll be flattered if you do.
Unless you got there
You know what?
early, you got a little time,
You know what?
you got a little pre-show.
Listen to us at the drive-in.
Yeah,
listen
why
to us
not?
at the drive-in.
Listen
Okay,
to
you
us
take your
anywhere.
kids. You take your kids to go check out some kid movie that you have no interest in seeing.
I
Like,
don't know if they should listen with kids in the car.
well, headphones, dude.
Headphones.
Headphones. You can't just have it blasting. Then the kids aren't going to be able
Headphones
to
in the
enjoy. Or you put them
Not
out back.
when
You
you're
let the
Scott.
radio play your thing, and then you sit there. You're at the drive-in. You're not driving.
Drive-in, Scott. Not while you're driving. Not at the drive-through.
You're at the drive-in.
I'm saying
drive-in.
driving to it, they would start it on the way to
No,
it.
I'm saying listen
Why?
at there when the kids
It's
are watching the movie.
Perfect. It's almost exactly the same length as a typical Disney movie.
Exactly. We're only
very
about half
true.
the length of a typical superhero movie, so
Yeah, especially now.
for now.
And a
We've had
third
a
of the
couple.
length
We've had a
of,
Star Wars episode that was the length of Star Wars.
Yeah, that was long. Anyway, we're going to talk about summer blockbusters. We might talk about Star Wars. And then we'll talk about what we watched this week. And then we're going to go to bed to forget the pollen. I don't know. I can't talk anymore.
Yeah.
I don't know. I might not go to bed. My animals are going crazy up in this house, which is my transition into my first summer blockbuster on my list, which is Animal House.
What did
Right.
you think of Animal House?
Animal House.
Yeah, what did you think of it?
Honestly, the first several times I watched it, it was, I get why it was iconic and why it's a cult classic. However, it didn't do it for me. But after watching that documentary about the
Futile and Stupid Gesture?
that one,
Yeah.
Futile and Stupid Gesture, after watching that mockumentary, I was like, you know what, this is I can see why it's raved and critically acclaimed. Like, after learning little bits about it, it's nice to be able to go in and see it again and say, you know what, okay, it moves up a notch in my spot. It's not my favorite movie by any means. Like, it's a little too far-fetched for me, but it's also a decent movie. It's good enough.
Yeah, I've tried to watch it a couple times, and I just can't get through it.
Yeah, I feel like it's not a very Craig-like movie. I've only seen it when I was maybe early high school, and I was like, oh, I get this, and that was about it. I don't know. I think some of the things were lost on me a little. Not lost on me, but certain types of humor just aren't for me. Certain types of extremely crass or yeah. So
I get it.
yeah, so it's not like I don't think it's I'm on the same boat as you. I kind of understand why it would be more, such a cultural kind of thing. But
I think it was because it was a culture shock too, right?
Yeah.
It was different. It was something different
exactly
at the time.
And since then, there's been so many. We grew up with so many different spoof movies and stuff like that, which even pushed the bar further than it did in some respects and less in other respects. And yeah, so I could see why it is. It's just it didn't appeal to me. But there's a few the Revenge of the Nerds movies were the same way. I was watching those once and I was like, no, I don't. No.
That's because you're watching the wrong Revenge of the
You don't
Nerds
watch
movie, Scott.
Revanche des Nerds.
Revanche des Nerds.
I believe I have
the
watched
French
that.
version. The French version.
If that is what I think it is, which is your guys' high school
Yep.
movie video.
Yep, the Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I definitely have seen
Star
that at
Wars.
least
Star
once.
Wars. High school Star Wars nerds. watch it if you find it. And if you find it, just let us know.
Yeah, if you
let us know where you found it.
Please send me a copy.
Tag us in it at least.
Also, where did you get it?
Did you pay for it? Because
Yeah, I would like some of that money if you did.
all of the questions, just all of the questions. Why are you watching? Where did you get it? Who did you watch it with? So next up, I just got to make the point that there's a lot of franchises that made their money off of exclusively releasing in the summer for the longest time.
Look at
Oh,
you,
definitely.
Star Wars.
And
Yeah,
Transformers. And
Actually,
Marvel.
Marvel had quite a few.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Transformers
Well,
has some
even
fun.
Jurassic Park and then
Oh, yeah.
Jurassic World both came out in the summer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't count this year's Jurassic World. I feel like it was just a little bit too early.
Well, yeah, they
Like
should
it
have lined
was-
it up more with the anniversary, which was like a month after the movie came
Yeah.
out. I'm like, wait,
Well,
you guys missed the boat on something there. Like,
I think this year anyways, like it feels like they're jumping the boat or jumping the gun a little bit on releasing their summer blockbusters because a lot of them they're coming out in April.
yeah,
Like the end of April, and then they're out of theaters by mid-July.
by actual summer.
So
Yeah,
just a note on that, because according to IMDb,
IMDb.
everybody knows that IMDb is the authority on all things.
All things.
Their summer blockbusters by year list says that films that make their list are released from April 25th to August 25th. So, end
I
of
see.
April.
I feel like that's a new edit because Infinity War decided to release a week early.
A week early,
on
yeah.
April 27th, and they're like, "Oh, but it's tech. That's $1 billion we're taking away from the box office, the summer box office. If we don't count it, let's
Yeah.
move it 2 days."
Yeah, like I feel like I don't know the fact that it came out just on the cusp of being at the end of the summer blockbusters on Blu-ray, and it came out 2 days after the beginning of the summer. Like that just seems sketchy to me. Like it seems like you're absolutely right that they did move it just to
They
say that.
definitely moved it. I'm 100%
Like-
sure that got changed within the last.
But it's a
couple
really
months.
round number. That's like unless they move both goals. But
Like-
Well, that's what I was thinking because now it doesn't have Labor Day weekend in it anymore, which I believe it
but
used
Labor
to.
Day shouldn't qualify as a summer blockbuster. Because
Well,
it's not
It's still yeah, but why would April be
because it's going
considered
to
a
play
summer
into the
blockbuster?
summer, like May.
Yeah, but
Well, what I was
Labor Day
thinking
is
the
still
end of
technically summer.
Like
But
movies,
the-
like
the
you might
end
go
of-
check out over that long.
The end of
weekend,
summer
right?
is Labor Day. So it's not if you release it on Labor Day, it's not going to play in summer. It's people.
Yeah, no,
Well,
I'm not saying
season-wise,
I'm talking about
technically,
just recording
calendar.
just like you
That's
end
getting
the
technical.
like when you're getting the
Yeah, I'm
grosses.
getting technical.
Yeah.
Like, I personally, in my opinion, April is too goddamn early.
Oh, I agree.
Like as
May
a
was pushing
Canadian,
it.
like
yeah.
as a Canadian, you know my belief of summer beginning is May 2-4.
Yeah.
Victoria Day weekend. That is the official Canadian. Okay, you're allowed to start thinking about summer.
Yeah.
Memorial Day
That's
for
it.
those of you
I-
who are listening south of the border.
I can't in the end of April be like, oh, I'm so excited for the summer movie of the year. Like it's too early. Like I literally just put away my spring crap, and I'm thinking, okay, let's wear some lighter clothes now, but let's still have the friggin' winter boots near the front
Because
door
it
just in
might
case.
snow.
It really might. It
Like,
snowed here in Ottawa
In May.
It definitely
In
was,
May,
Yeah.
like you telling me I go to see Infinity War, and it snows, and I'm like, oh, this is a summer. No, it's too early. It's too damn early.
Or we're just too north.
2-4. May 2-4. It's like that's like the absolute cutoff. Like anything that comes before that, not a summer blockbuster. Anything that comes after that, sure, I'll accept it. That's just me, anyways. Like
Yeah.
April is just too damn early.
I feel like we should table this discussion until we talk about when we have our episode on specifically 2018
That's
So
true.
it's way
That's
more
true.
relevant to 2018.
Yeah.
No, this is for all times.
Well, and
All
I want us to
times.
kind of get back on track to all-time ones. We don't want to focus too much on just this year's ones, and then
I accept
ruin our
that.
next episode. Well, not next
I accept
episode, a
that.
few episodes from now. Anyways, though, what was next on one of your all-time summer blockbusters?
Next up, I've got Spider-Man movies. I've got Spider-Man, I got Spider-Man 3. I got Spider-Man Homecoming. I'm pretty sure Spider-Man 2 should be on this list. I don't know why I didn't put it there. I gotta Google when the hell did Spider-Man 2 come out, because I feel like it was definitely a summer movie.
Probably a summer movie. I'd put money on that too, but like especially back when those movies were coming out, there'd be no other time really. Like, why would you put them on during the school year when half your audience was going to be in school?
Yeah. Not all of our moms were so cool they would just yank us out of school to go watch Amazing 30th. Yeah. Okay, so there we go.
So, yeah.
We fixed that.
Were the Amazing Spider-Man summer movies as well?
Yeah.
Were they? That was a question. Sorry.
I think I'm pretty sure the second one was. I'm not sure about the first one. I didn't see that one in theaters.
Yeah.
Homecoming was, and I mean that's
that was
honestly
last year,
not. Yeah, like that one's it barely
July
makes
3rd,
my list.
2012 for The Amazing Spider-Man.
Okay, and I know for a fact this Amazing Spider-Man 2 was.
We saw that in at the drive-in, I think.
Did you?
You and I did.
Did
we did?
We did.
Yes.
We did.
We
Yeah,
saw
we had a bro
something
date
else too, but I can't remember what it was.
Nope, it wasn't Spider-Man. The Amazing Spider-Man 2. That's for sure.
But one of them was The Amazing Spider-Man 2, and that came out on the 2nd of May, 2014. Now, where's your line now?
You know what? I'm taking it. I'm gonna take The Amazing Spider-Man 2 off my list because I gotta stand by what I said. Too damn
Earlier in
early.
this episode.
Too damn early. It's too much.
Well,
We'll talk about this on a later date,
during
but
this list. There's something like that.
Too
But I was
damn
thinking of like when I tried to derail us or take us back off of 2018. I was thinking, well,
It's gonna come
Deadpool
back.
2 was before. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Okay, so
yeah.
next up, I got a shit ton of Batman movies. Shit ton of
Yes,
Batman
sir.
movies. I got Batman. I got Batman Returns. I got Batman Forever. I got The Dark Knight. I got Batman.
All
right?
Batman,
Batman.
pretty much,
All
yeah.
Batman.
Except for Batman v Superman, which was March for some stupid reason. But it
And
was
Justice
April.
League, which was
November.
fall. It was March 25th for Batman vs
I
Superman.
thought so. That sounded right. Anyways, we're not talking about that. But yeah, all the Batmans. Do you remember ever going to see any of the Batmans in theaters?
In theaters?
Yeah.
I remember other people going to see the Batmans in theaters.
Honestly, I don't think. Yeah, I don't. I don't think I did. I didn't see any of like the Tim Burton Batmans.
Yeah, no, I can't remember. I would have been too young.
Some
when
of them
those
came
ones
out pre my life,
Yeah.
so those ones.
Oh yeah.
And then after that, like even Batman and Robin, if I saw it in theaters, it was at the Aaron here in
We would
Campbellford.
have been 7 or 8.
Yeah. I don't remember it, but I know I didn't see any of the Dark Knight trilogies in theater.
No, okay. I definitely saw
not,
the whole.
not even one.
I saw all of them in theaters because I remember I remember seeing the trailer for Batman Begins, and then if I've seen the first of a movie trilogy, I gotta go see them all in theaters. It's just the type of person I am, right? And that was back when movies were $4.25 on Tuesdays. I'm never gonna give that up.
Take it back. Bring back jobs. But no, I didn't see any of them in theaters. This was, I don't know, my broke ass my broke ass family. We did not do movies. It was not our thing.
That's
it was
fair.
like I got like 2 movies a year, and then my grandparents took care of the rest. But I guess they were anti-Batman, like a bunch of punks. I did not see any of the Dark Knight movies in theater whatsoever, which I feel like that's blasphemous. But I stand by it.
Well, you might get lucky and you could see it in like an
IMAX re-release.
Yeah, well, because they do that all the time. I see like a bunch of different movies being
That's
brought
true.
back all the time. So
That's true. Hopefully.
the 10th anniversary was not too long ago. It was like a week or 2 ago, I think.
Something like that.
Yeah.
But,
Anyways,
best we can do is Back to the Future.
yes.
That's another one.
That's another one on my list.
Are all of them? Is my question. See, this was one of the troubles I was having when I was looking this up.
Are there other Back to the Future movies? Because I am only aware of the first one. The rest of them never happened.
Well, no, none of them happened because he corrected time.
Right.
Well, none of them really happened because they're fictional movies. But
That
was
there
all
are
my
3 of
point.
them. I know.
In the movie universe, in their continuity, they all happened simultaneously and pick up right at the end. So it's really like Rambo First Blood or whatever,
Yeah.
and then Rambo First Blood Part 2, and then Rambo 2, and it's just too fucked up. And technically Rambo Part 1, 2 is the second one, but it's still the Like that's what Back to the Future feels like to me. It feels like they filmed a 9-hour movie and said, "Shit, we have too much. We got to cut out 3 hours to begin with because that's too goddamn long for back at this time." So they cut 3 hours off, and they said, "Now, no one wants to sit through 6 hours. Let's just split it into three separate 2-hour movies."
You're actually almost right. They made two. They made just the first one, and then they made a 6-hour movie, which they split into the 2 second parts, like the second and third part. They filmed those two simultaneously.
So they reverse Rambo'd it then.
Kind of, yeah.
They did one, and then instead of doing First Blood Part 1, Part 2, they did Back to the Future 2, Back to the Future 3.
That's why what's her name changes, the girlfriend. That's why the actress changes between movies.
Honestly, never noticed. Didn't really care for that character to begin with.
Well, she's not in much of the first one, really. Like she's.
If
like,
it wasn't the mom, I did not care.
That's fair.
Yeah, the mom is the only important character to me.
For obvious reasons. Back to the Future
For
Part
obvious
2
reasons.
came out in November, and Back to the Future Part 3 came out on the 25th of May.
This was like back to back. Like it was all within a year, right?
Right on the line in terms of what's acceptable as a summer blockbuster based on Andrew's scale of summer blockbuster.
What was the day it came out?
25th of May, 1990.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah, it just fits
by like your thing.
By a day.
Yeah, exactly.
On paper. God damn. Like those are movies that I hate how much I like them.
Well,
like I can sit down and watch them start to finish and then have gained nothing and then say, yeah, okay, those are great movies. They're great movies. Like they're so bad, but they're so good, but they're terrible, but watch them.
They're just super entertaining is the way I think of it. Like, yeah, you can start breaking down a lot of like the different like logic points that don't quite work, but I think it's just so well shot. And I think at the time, like when it came out too, I think it was such a big deal the way they were able to do a bunch of the different things, like the different like split shots they do, having the actors like in the same shot as one they were in before and stuff like that, and different like CGI and special effects. So I think that had a big impact on it back then, and I feel like the nostalgia to it is the biggest part of it, because like I grew up watching it, so that's why I can just stick it in any day and just be fine with watching, because I'm just like, yep, I know it's gonna happen, and I like it anyways.
I enjoy them, but
I
enjoy them, but I just look at it, oh my god, the acting is just so subpar. There's so many issues with it. Oh my god, look at that. Oh my god, look at that. Like it's just, they're so bad, they're amazing, but they're terrible, but watch them. It's like Ready Player One, okay?
Garbage. So exactly
like Ready Player One. There we go.
Exactly like Ready Player One.
Exactly.
Except with an awesome soundtrack. Because Ready Player One did not.
Well, it depends on if you're into super campy, corny 80s music.
And I am not.
Well, you know what, Craig? Scott and I, we're not going to take it.
That is the reason why I hate that movie.
Next up on my list, I just have Avengers movies.
Yeah.
Because it's most of the Marvel movies.
Yeah, a big chunk of them. The ones that don't come out at the end of the year or the beginning of the year come out during the summer. They tend to have 2 during the summer, most summers. This summer was, depending on what week you decide is the summer movie season, they had...
Well, technically, Black Panther was still in theaters up until like last week. Probably still in theaters somewhere.
It's because
trying to break bullshit records.
Date. Well, and it's all water down the records because they're all getting re-releases for the like 10th anniversary, and like I know in Canada we're getting a whole like you can watch like all 20 of them again.
Wow! All of a sudden, I hate Marvel.
Yeah,
I thought you already did. What?
I don't hate Marvel. I just now I do.
Yeah, they just feels a little watered down to me.
They went and changed my opinion of them, the stupid greedy bastards.
That's it.
They just want to break a couple records.
Just leave it dead. No one else brings their movies back out again.
Craig, I would argue. Well, that's not true. They just did it. They just brought back what's it called? 2001: A Space Odyssey. It made a couple million this year
because it's the best movie ever. Well,
that's an older movie,
and it's been 50 years or something stupid like that.
75.
Well, we're hitting the 10th year anniversary of the biggest
but they're
cinematic
still
franchise.
Yeah, but they're putting out movies that came out in last year.
Calm down,
February.
Marvel.
I feel like you guys are just upset because I have so many of them in the draft.
No, that's not even it. It's just wait.
That's part of it,
Plus,
but it's not all
a
of it.
re-release doesn't count. I'm adding that.
No,
to the
I
rule.
agree. I agree. It doesn't count as a summer. Like Black Panther is not a summer movie whatsoever, just because it made its last of its 700 million in the U.S. during the summer. Yeah,
Which is just a whole nother bag of worms that
the
feels
only
watered
thing I'll
down
say
to
about
me.
like what you guys are saying about like Marvel and stuff is that, well, people don't have to pay for the tickets, but people are. That's my only like thing. I'm like, well,
Yeah, because people are stupid.
Well, that's a whole other thing
It's
we
the
can talk
same-
about.
it's the
I don't know
same
how
as
that
this-
applies to Marvel or not.
it's
does,
the
because
same as
Marvel's
that
just
people wanting to.
They're just being greedy, trying to take advantage of all these really stupid people, which is
The
fine.
stupid people who
but
are
Why
going
do
to
the
watch.
stupid want to go watch these movies in
Okay.
theaters?
because
The
they
people who
just
wanna go
came out.
Yeah, but they're not always available. Like I can't watch Black Panther right now in my town anywhere. What if I want to go see it in theaters again?
That's
Tough.
a you problem.
You
Take-
should have gone
yeah.
when it came
Well, no.
out.
Be-
like,
do
see,
like
that's the
every
thing, that's the
other.
difference
Yeah.
is, like, I don't have to be tough. They're bringing it back. It's like
I don't-
it's tough for you that you can't go to the IMAX one day of the year because they're running a Marvel thing, but it's one day.
I don't like that they re-release anything, and I'm gonna put one exception on that, and that is 2001: A Space Odyssey, because they re-released it in the original film format.
Well, that's not the only thing that's ever been re-released. I'm sure there's tons of summer
I know,
movies. I'm
but I
sure
don't
there's
care
tons
about
of
the
movies
rest
that were
of them.
paired with other movies and drive-ins. It's just these. I agree, their motivations for doing it weren't the most, wholesome or family-friendly.
No, it's let's
But
take
that's not
our
business.
multi-billion-dollar company and let's make it bigger. Like I look at the people who are going to see movies in theaters when it's sitting in Blu-ray on my shelf. Like I look at that and I'm like, you are the same fuckers who decided unilaterally, let's start sending money to bring like Kylie Jenner to make her a goddamn billionaire just to say we did it.
This is a
like
hostile
give me
episode.
your money. Give me your money.
Turned into
You
a
two,
really
Crowdfund
you two,
us.
I'm
hostile episode.
completely in defense of everybody's right to
No.
capitalism.
No. I'm a businessman and some of this is bullshit. Spread the wealth. I'm a little bit of a socialist, but I'm a social conservative, okay? Just let it
I
be.
didn't know this is the direction this conversation was going to go.
Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
That's
Okay.
a better way to go, yeah.
I love that movie.
That's a good one. That's
Love
one of the
that
first
movie.
like animated live action movies ever, right?
Yeah, I think that was one of the first like slightly raunchy movies I remember watching as a kid.
Same.
Because it's a kids movie, but it's not a kids movie.
It's so not appropriate for children.
It's raunchy.
I was
It
given
oozes sex.
I was given very confusing feelings as a child towards that cartoon lady.
Was it something?
I don't remember exactly. I just remember
Veronica?
as a
Not
kid
Veronica.
having a weird like. I'm not gonna say it like anything crazy happened. Just I remember being like noticing. That's all I remember. Like I remember being like, that sticks out to me. I don't know why, but it stuck out to me when I was younger, and I'm like,
Jessica Rabbit.
Not the only thing that stuck out, eh, Scott?
Oh,
that was a little early for that kind of thing. That's what I'm saying. Like, I was pre anything like that. Like, I wasn't aware of that kind of, what any of that was. And it was, but at the same time, I still had this like recognition of like, what's going on there?
You're like, in 3 years, I want that.
Like, it was something was sticking out about it. That's all I'm saying.
This episode went from being hostile to Big Mouth, the podcast. Like,
yeah.
what are you doing?
You're the one who took it
Scott,
towards
why are you in the
penis
bath?
area.
Why are you in the bathroom with Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Don't ask questions, Mom.
With that
I
deep
don't know that would
voice,
work with a
'cause
VHS
puberty.
Yeah.
back in the day. Roll a whole cart into those carts you used to have in like high school or like school and shit. They
The
rolled.
AV carts?
Yeah, exactly. Just to roll one of those into your bathroom. Scott, what are you doing? I'm having a bath. What? Just leave me
Well,
alone.
I just meant you were in there with the
VHS.
VHS case.
Just looking at the
Or
cover.
like the cardboard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I was trying to- I
you're the
was
one who
try-
decided you had to go. You need the visuals.
I'm
You
trying
can't
to
just
make
look at it. You need to.
more of a comedic bit as opposed to us talking about did Scott's early childhood get turned on by a cartoon?
The answer is yes.
I believe it.
It was 100%
Probably.
yes, but let's move on past
Yeah.
the point.
100%.
Let's talk about
100%
other
yes.
things.
Or you want to talk about sexy women?
I never
Obviously.
said those words ever.
Let's talk about Iron Man 3.
I thought we already covered all the Marvel ones.
Yeah, I thought we did that in a lump.
Yeah.
No, we're talking about Iron Man 3 specifically.
Okay, what about it specifically?
No, I'm kidding. We're talking about Jaws. We're moving on.
Yeah,
We're talking about Jaws.
obviously. We got to talk about Jaws.
Because it's, for starters, it's a summer movie,
Yep.
Yeah.
but it is also a summer blockbuster.
So you're gonna call that a call forward instead of a call back? Call
Yep,
forward to
that's
an
it.
episode that's coming
That's
up.
it.
Hint, hint.
Future sight. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge.
Yeah, I'm gonna write that down in my notes right now for that.
It's called foreshadowing.
Jaws. Jaws coming up so much. I watched that 2 weeks ago because of the Meg. It's coming out.
That's true.
I didn't see the Meg, but I watched Jaws again, and I get why that movie.
That's because
such a classic.
Jaws is one of the best movies ever made. Okay,
No, it is
that's
definitely.
that's the one franchise where I can say, you know what, I'm okay with the fact that they made a lot of watered down sequels, just because
Watered down.
Yeah, you got that.
And then he drinks some water. Wow.
And then we drink some water, watered down. But like the sequels, like they're so terrible, but also incredible at the same time. Because by the fourth one, it's just the vengeance of the shark. They keep killing these sharks, but they kind of infer that the family's cursed and that the sharks are all deciding to go after this family. And you're like,
You know what? I think that there are actually how many? They made 3 Jaws movies, right? Jaws 2, and Jaws 3D.
let me see. I got them on my shelf. Ugh. Somewhere.
I like the old method of looking this up. Rather than Google it, we're just gonna check Andrew's shelf.
Well, I think there's 4.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I made that mistake a couple of weeks.
Jaws, the Revenge. In Jaws, the Revenge, there you go. You can see it now.
Yeah.
Jaws, the Revenge. You get his son, who just bangs a lot.
Are we talking about Jaws' son or?
Both.
Okay,
Both.
I wasn't sure.
Okay.
I haven't seen the sequels. I saw the
Do you guys
first
want to
one.
hear the back? It says, once again, the peace of amity and the lives of the Brody family are shattered by a bloodthirsty shark in this suspense-packed sequel to the original classic Chiller. Lorraine Gary reprises her role as the new widowed Ellen Brody, who finds herself reliving the horrors of the past when a mammoth shark kills her son. Grief-stricken, she travels to the Bahamas to be with her other son, a marine biologist, Lance Guest, and his family. There she meets and falls for a carefree airplane pilot, Michael Caine.
That was fucking
And
quick.
there's also a scene where Michael Caine's like, "Oh, I'm going to sacrifice myself." Dude doesn't even die. He's like,
What kind of
like he
sacrifice
lives.
is that then? That's not a
No wonder it
sacrifice.
got 2.9 out of 10 stars. But
Just
okay, good. Keep going.
you say 2.9 out of 10?
Yep.
God damn.
Yep.
But just as she is putting her life back together, the nightmare of the past returns when her granddaughter's attacked by an all too familiar great white. Determined to end the terror once and for all, Ellen sets out for a showdown to the death. The action and tension build rapidly to a shattering climax in this, the most incredible Jaws adventure of them all. And this time, it's personal.
So the point I was trying to make was that they actually made 9 Jaws movies. They just watered it down so much they had to rebrand it and
Get
call
bent.
it Sharknado.
Shark, fair enough. And Deep Blue Sea. Don't forget about Deep Blue Sea.
All right, 10 Jaws movies watered down so badly they had to rebrand
There's
it twice.
11 because there's two Deep Blue Sea movies.
Seas. So bad they had to water it down twice, or they had to rebrand
Which
it
is
twice.
terrible because the second Deep Blue Sea movie is like 97% the original Deep Blue Sea movie.
That's how sequels used to be made.
And it's just, oh god.
Same movie, different ending.
Same movie, different characters. It's like Dino Shark. I've seen that movie in like 3 different formats with the exact same storyline.
So basically,
Yeah, that's what all the Sharknadoes are.
yes.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I've never seen
God.
any of them. I just know when you name something Sharknado, that somebody like me wrote it. And that's not a compliment
Probably.
to the Sharknadoes writers at all.
You know what I read this week is that they called Sharknado, like they titled the script something else, something like Dark Skies, so that the actors would sign on. And then once they had contracts, they flipped it back to Sharknado because the premise would be too ridiculous and no one would sign
Yeah.
up. Yep.
No, I get
That
that.
doesn't surprise me
No,
That
I
sounds like a-
at all.
Yeah,
I get
that.
that.
Sounds very Hollywood. Like a very
Yep.
Hollywood move. Now that kind of practice of Hollywood's I don't agree with.
no. No,
But
don't
putting
do
shit
that.
back in theaters,
Do
I'm
not do
totally
that.
cool with.
But did you say putting it back in theaters?
Putting
Yeah.
things back in theaters, I'm
We're-
totally cool
No,
with.
no.
Stop it.
You put some things back. Sharknado though?
No, Sharknado's never in theaters. Those are direct to DVD.
Good.
It wasn't even
Good.
direct to DVD. It was direct to network
Netflix.
television.
Burn the
And then
televisions. All of
never
the
seen again.
televisions.
No, they're all on Amazon.
Oh god.
Are they?
I
I
believe
know
they're
what
all
I'm
on
doing
Amazon
this
Prime.
weekend.
I believe
Well-
they're on one of the ones we have because I've seen them.
Because we have all of them.
Well, we have all the Canadian ones.
Yep. All the important ones.
Yeah.
Well, moving on from
yeah.
terrifying sharks that have vengeance, I'm going to move over to Finding Nemo and Finding Dory, which are both also summer blockbusters. And those are movies I'd be okay with them bringing back into theaters for one day.
Stop it.
One day.
It's funny you say
one
that
day on like a
'cause that's
Saturday
also
afternoon.
Disney.
Back to back.
It's the same people.
March break.
It's the same people that bring out Marvel movies.
No.
Stop it.
See, I'm doing it for different reasons. Like, coming back and saying, oh, it's been 10 years, let's do this, or let's show them all and make money. I don't agree with that. But putting Finding Nemo and Finding Dory in theaters back to back for one day so you can watch them back to back with your kids and get them to experience what you experienced as a kid, I can get behind that.
Man,
Play them at home.
I'm 100% sure if you look
That's
at your
fine.
local cinema, you could find that happening once every couple months. They've got the family
At
favorites.
my local cinema?
No. I said Cineplex. I said Cineplex.
No, you said local cinema.
Okay, well, for our listeners, they're local cinemas because they don't live in nowhere.
No one lives in
For
the
you,
well,
look at
not
How
nowhere,
dare you.
Most of them don't live in the middle of nowhere.
It's not Peter, but where do you go again? Is it Belleville? Where are we going when we go from your place to go see a movie?
I go where I want, okay? I'm everywhere
Belleville,
and nowhere
that's
at the
what it
same
was,
time.
Belleville. Okay, thank
Yeah, it's
you.
Belleville.
Yeah, so you can look up at Belleville, and well, that maybe not. That one's still a fairly smaller one.
Boom. That's
go
it.
to Peterborough. You're gonna go-
Peterborough's a small one too.
Is
It's
it
got
fairly
9
small?
theaters, but it plays like 4 movies.
Terrible. Okay,
Sounds like the landmark in St. Catharines, but anyway.
Landmark is amazing. Don't you diss that one.
I did not
love that
diss
landmark.
it. I love that movie theater because no one goes there. The only place
Exactly.
Yeah,
you can go
it's
see
amazing.
an opening night showing of Black Panther and get a ticket just before the movie starts.
That's
only
it.
place.
Or you could do the
That's
same
not a-
thing
yeah, I can
in
argue.
Belleville, but you have the worst experience of your
That's
life.
true, but we're not talking about that. We're talking about how Die Hard is a summer movie.
Yes.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Which
Good
brings me to
luck.
that question. I wanted to-
Anybody who makes the point that that's a Christmas movie to me from now on, I will say it came out in the summer. Stop it.
Well, that actually brings up something I wanted to ask you guys, which is: are there any summer blockbusters which you thought like you could have swore came out during a different time of the year? Like
Nope.
I always thought all the Harry Potters were Christmas movies. I swear in my memory, they were always like Christmas time.
I
Nope.
think there was like 1 or 2 that came out in the fall, wasn't there?
I think like maybe 1 or 2, but when we were
Yeah.
doing this
A
research,
lot
I saw
of
like
them were
half
end of May,
them.
beginning
Yeah.
of June.
I saw half of them were like, which makes sense because all the students would be out of school then to go see it. But I like in my memory when I think of it, which now that I'm thinking back, it's probably because I always got the DVDs for Christmas, right?
Okay.
And that would make that lines up perfectly, right? Like them coming out in the summer, comes out before
Yeah.
Christmas, right? On DVD. Well, that's how long it used to take back in the day. Now it's like you got a month and a half.
Yeah. Well, now we're going to keep it in theaters for 9 months, and then next Tuesday it comes out. Unless it's Maleficent, which is another summer blockbuster that was in theaters. I feel like one of the records, because I remember seeing that in like April, and then all of a sudden it was the end of August, and it was still in most theaters in Niagara, and I was like, why? Why is this
I
happening?
think you're right that it's definitely up there, like with one of the records, if I'm not mistaken, if I remember when I was looking correctly. But I might be way off too. I never saw that movie. I still haven't.
I don't like it.
It was too strange for me. I don't want to see a revamped story of an old classic.
So
A
that
in
sounds
live
right
action.
Up my like right up my alley.
A in live action. B, I don't want to see you take a villain and make her like an anti-hero
yeah, that I'm getting
from
a
a
little
children's
sick of.
movie.
That-
Like that's
That's getting a little old, but that's a totally other topic to talk about.
totally other topic. But Transformers, I feel like you mentioned Transformers,
Yeah.
right? So I can knock that off my list. I got Jaws, Star Trek Into Darkness.
Yep, and the first the just the Star Trek reboot, the first one of.
Was it? It was a summer blockbuster as well.
From what I saw on one of the lists, it said it was. I didn't catch what month. It just said the year.
Excellent. Surprise movies that I never thought I'd give a shot to until last fall, and they're good movies.
Yeah,
good
I
movies.
really
Go
like
see
them
them.
even more than like. I'm really happy they rebooted. There was a bunch of controversy when it was happening, but I've always been kind of like open to reboots in a sense, as long as it's not too early and it's for a reason. Like, and I like that they justified these ones with time travel. Why not do something? It's sci-fi. You can do whatever you want.
For me, being not a fan of Star Trek,
yeah.
it's like I can go watch these movies and enjoy them. Like I had, I was
because
familiar
they're
with the
not same as
characters.
the TV shows, plural.
Yes,
Oh,
that's
not
it.
at all.
Like they're all action, not corn.
They're
Yeah.
supposed to be. Yeah, they're supposed to appeal to a
Broader audience.
a casual
No.
sci-fi fan rather than specifically the Star Trek fan, which is
Yeah.
where the TV show falls in. Both
Yes,
or all. I guess I'll go with all.
all.
There's
Yes.
a bunch. Yeah.
I know, but the only two ones I ever think of are the original series and the Next Generation.
They are the most important. They're the ones that get referred
What else?
to the
There.
most.
Okay, then there's Star Trek Enterprise.
That's the last of them.
There was.
Yeah.
There's the new one. The
Discovery.
new one that's out.
Then there's
What was the one in between?
two in between. So you had Deep Space Nine, which was on a
That's what I was
space
thinking.
station, and there
Deep
was
Space
Voyager
Nine, yeah.
as well, which was one that took
Voyager.
where the
Okay.
ship was in another galaxy and then they make their way
Yeah.
back. That one I liked because that was cool because they didn't have all the like Starfleet attachments. It was a lot of
Yeah.
just we had to do our own.
Was
shit.
that the one with the? Was that the one with the woman captain?
Yeah, Captain Janeway.
That was a good one.
Yeah,
that
it's
was,
really
that
good.
was one I didn't mind
I
too
like
much.
that one too because it had a good balance of like the original Star Trek feel with the like updated feel of like the Next Generation. So
And not being super corny.
yeah, exactly. Well, it had some.
Like,
It had some of its moments, you know.
I kind of liked Star Trek Enterprise, just because it reminded me more of like Stargate.
I haven't
Like
gotten
it
to
had
watching
like a
that
little.
one yet.
It had a little bit of a Stargate feel to me,
Okay.
anyways.
Well, that makes me want to go watch it right now because I love Stargate so much. I don't know how we got on this
So
topic
much.
off of summer movies.
We were talking about Star Trek. We were
Right.
just talking about how I liked it.
Okay, yeah, I got way too far into the TV shows.
That's it. That's it. Speaking of way too far into stuff, I'm going to talk about that guy in right behind you, right there. I'm going to talk about the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Jack Sparrow.
Jack Sparrow.
I remember seeing this for the first one in theaters during the summer because I was pretty hyped for these movies when they came out, and I'm still a decent fan. I know they kind of teetered off after a few, and some people.
The first three, phenomenal.
I love them, and some people
Loved
don't like
them.
the second or the
Loved
third.
them.
I love them. The fourth one I'm even pretty okay with. The fifth one, is there a fifth one? I can't remember now.
Yeah, there's a fifth one that came out last year.
Yeah, so that one's forgettable. That one's quite forgettable to be
Yeah.
honest.
Like to me, the first three, the original trilogy,
Oh yeah.
like they might be some of my my favorite trilogies
Oh yeah.
ever.
And I can rewatch
Like,
that almost any time. They're up
they're-
there with franchise. That's why it's on the wall.
I'm gonna say they're higher than the Dark Knight trilogy to me. Okay, that's how high they are for me.
I could see
They're not
that.
quite. They're not quite at Oceans. They're not at Oceans, and they never will be
You
at
mean that
Oceans.
like rewatchability or your
Yes.
likability? Rewatchability. Okay. Yeah.
A little bit of both. A hybrid of both.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Rewatchability. That's what it is.
Rewatch a likability?
Rewatchability.
Yeah, I can't say that.
Make it happen. But they're great movies. And then the fourth came out, and I was like, you know what? I can watch this. Like, and I will watch it again. You know, I don't need it, but it's okay.
Yeah.
And then the fifth one came out, and I was like,
Fifth one was
just
the only
watch
one I didn't see in
Transformers.
theaters.
Yep, yeah, I'm the same way. I was going to, and then I just didn't.
Yeah, I just didn't
And
care
I
enough.
watched Transformers instead. Because why not?
I did not do that. It's really funny you mentioned both those because they're both big summer ones. Both I watched like the first four in theaters, gave up on the fifth.
Yeah, that's it.
Waited till I got them both free from freaking either Netflix or the library. One or the other.
That's fair. Why not? Why not? But my list is almost done. You guys want me to finish it, or do you guys want to step in?
Yeah, no, you go and finish,
Go
'cause
ahead,
then I
you're
can take
kinda
off the
crushing
last
all of them,
ones.
so that's good.
Yeah, it
Boom.
just takes
There
off
we
the
go.
ones off my list. Makes it shorter.
So I mentioned the Jurassic Park and Jurassic Park or Jurassic World.
Yep.
Mentioned those ones. Next up, I got Independence Day.
Yep.
Both of them. One of them is more worth it than the other, just so everyone is aware.
Yeah, the second one, right?
Yeah,
Jokes.
that's it.
Jokes. Of course, I like the one with Will freaking Smith. For God's sake. Why didn't they bring it back for the second one? Why
If you
is
like
this
the
pitching
second
only
one,
thing in
okay.
there? I
Let
dismiss
me
Will
describe the
Smith.
second one for you. Go into the bathroom, urinate in your toilet and get in there with it. There we go.
You know, I agree. The second one's terrible, and it was because it was missing the charisma of Willard Smith.
What happened to go sit in a corner and think about what you've done?
I've lost that. It's been like
We've
a
gotten
month.
super violent all of a sudden.
Well, I was just quoting a Theo Von joke,
Yes.
just to be peaceful. He's talking about Mississippi. I'm talking about Independence Day 2.
Same thing.
Same thing.
I bet you the people who live in
Mississippi.
Mississippi like Independence Day too. Like it's their national or it's their state movie.
State movie. Oh my goodness. Theo Von would go crazy. Next up, I got Raiders.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope that means Raiders of the Lost Ark and not
well,
Oakland.
As soon as you say Raiders, that's the first thing I think of. So
Same. I feel like that's why Oakland has done so poorly. Is just no one identifies.
That's it, 'cause they're
there.
competing.
Yeah, they're
'Cause
competing
they're
with
competing.
the greatest movie.
Man, did you go see the Raiders? You mean the movie? No.
Oh my goodness, I've seen that
Football team.
every year. Why? Watch the Argos. Next up, I've got Wonder Woman, which brings back upsetting memories from my last year, which I've mentioned before on the podcast, being assaulted by that woman.
That's
Right.
That is
That's
my
what it was.
favorite at the movie story. All the rest of them are like they cannot compare to the original
No.
at the movie story.
To the original. Oh my goodness! Oh my goodness! Ha ha ha! Why are you sitting beside me? Why? Okay. Just
We're the
go to the
only
movies.
two people here. Why are you saying
Why is this happening? This is the equivalent of when you park a mile away from the mall to protect your new car and some dickhead parks beside you.
that?
Oh, I'm
dickhead
that
is me.
dickhead.
Oh, yeah.
Like not in the theater, but in a fucking parking lot. Well, it
Especially
depends.
if you're
Wait,
parked
wait.
close to the line.
Well, Michael, yeah, I was gonna say, are
Then I
you
got
you
it.
over the lines?
Because
Because
if
you're
you're
on the
parked like
line,
a
my-
normal human being in the middle of the parking lot,
then I don't
then
care. Yeah.
more power to you. I'm gonna go park where I want to park.
Yeah.
But if you park on top of the line, I am parking on the other side of that line.
If you park like a
That's
dickhead,
fair.
I'm parking
That's
like a
fair. I
dickhead
just
in
mean
front
when you park. I just mean when you try to park as far away from civilization as you can.
What about-
You're parked properly.
What about when you
and you
park
get
in the handicap parking spot?
Then you can die. If you don't have that sticker, drop dead.
What about-
Don't even sit in the corner and think about what you did. Die.
What ab-
like that guy who parked his caddy.
Yeah,
The one
that's
time
the
I told
story
you
I was
about.
going for.
Okay.
That's the one I wanted.
Scott, I don't think I told you. This isn't even movie related. This
Not
is just
even.
me
I
getting.
thought
This
we were
is just
going
me
off,
getting
yeah.
heated. Okay. I'm at Cosmoprof in Belleville. Okay. I'm parked there. This guy pulls in his freaking Cadillac and just parks in it, gets out and goes into a store. And like, if you're not handicapped and you feel like you need to park there to protect your car, they should have a detonator button.
I agree
Like
with that.
they
yeah.
should just
Causes a
know.
fire
Put
underneath it.
put cameras on either side of the door, and if they judge and say, holy shit, this guy has 1.5 feet of extra space on either side of the car, and he's in one spot, blow your car up. Because that's the same as parking in 2 spots, or 3 spots, or 4 spots if you drive a pickup truck and you park it on an angle because you're a piece of shit. Get the fuck out of here. If you can't drive a pickup truck, you shouldn't be driving a pickup truck. If you can walk, you shouldn't be parked in a handicap spot. That's what I'm saying. If my crippled, broken-footed ass has to walk across the parking lot, your Cadillac driving totally fine ass can too. Okay? I stand by it.
That was a preview from our upcoming podcast. The three of us bitch about shit.
We would never be able to do that podcast because it would be 6 hours long, twice a week,
And Andrew would be in just a cold
and we'd have to edit like
sweat.
half of it out just to get rid of personal details. Like
That's it.
It would be so rough.
It would
So
be.
not coming to the Forgot to Grow Up podcast network. The show where we bitch about stuff.
That's it. Maybe one episode, but we'll pre-screen it. We'll
Yeah.
bounce ideas off of us.
We'll do it like TMZ where we just run through stuff.
No,
That's
I
it.
don't like
If
that
it doesn't
idea. I
work,
don't like
we'll
that
cut to
idea.
commercial.
Yeah, and we'll laugh really hard the entire time. It'll be great.
That's it.
That's what
That's it.
that's what it'd be edited down to, is us just laughing.
It's just us laughing.
So
the
the
entire
next
time.
thing.
Let's talk about dead air. Ah.
Y'all got
Let's
jobs?
talk about dead air.
Let's talk about Forrest Gump.
There you go. Back
Let's.
on track.
Let's.
Top 3 greatest movie ever made.
Okay, so Jaws,
one of my favorite normal
Forrest
people
Gump,
movies.
and Top 3.
Debbie Does Dallas. Duh.
Obviously.
Obviously.
Did you say Debbie Does Dallas?
Yep.
Yeah. Because now the kids at home
One
who are
horror.
listening
Well, they were
are going to have to find out
They
what.
were gone when I was talking about the freaking cartoons.
That's just a romance movie, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what it is.
It's a romantic comedy.
Yeah. Debbie Does Dallas is about this young lady named Debbie who just really wants to go and work for the Dallas Cowboys.
Stop.
I don't even know what the plot is. I'm just trying to come up with something a little family friendly for it.
When are we going to stop? Never.
Forrest Gump is an incredible movie. I have family members. I'm not going to say who. James, you know who you are.
Not naming any names.
Who thinks this is a terrible movie. And
You have a
I
friend
think I've
who's
mentioned
never
it
seen
before.
I feel like those are
Like-
that's kind of like people who just like hate things they never tried. Because I'm just like, well, how would you know?
Yeah.
Like, what do
That-
you
that's
know,
fair.
James, about Forrest Gump being a good movie?
That's it. That's fair. That's fair. You like
Calling your brother
that's
out.
like seeing The Notebook in the theater.
It was a matinee, too.
I'm not proud of it, but it happened. Like, it's just, how can you hate Forrest Gump? It covers every major historical event over multiple decades.
He overcomes
Not just
so
like
much.
what happened in 2015. Nuh-uh. A lifetime of incredible events of history in one movie. And I know they changed some stuff from the book to the movie. That's fine, because the movie is a masterpiece.
Great. I know.
It's one of those movies that if they ever said, oh yeah, by the way, we're thinking of rebooting Forrest Gump and we're going to get Vin Diesel to play it or some A-list actor, there would be absolute bedlam. I would purchase a ticket to LA, and I have no interest in ever going there. And I would riot. I would be the only guy walking up Sunset Boulevard just with a baseball bat that happens to have a picket sign like duct tape to it, not even nailed, duct tape to it. I'd be livid.
See,
I would do
that if they ever redid Mary Poppins, but thankfully, that's never going to happen.
It's never gonna happen. Like, there's some things you don't touch. Forrest Gump is one of them.
Mary Poppins
Okay.
is the other.
Mary Poppins is the other.
Ferris Bueller's the third. Don't touch
Yeah.
my Ferris.
Is the third.
And 2 of those
Absolutely.
aren't going to get rebooted.
3 of them, maybe. We still have a chance to get this movie turned
It
around.
might just stop production. Some
That's it.
high-up executive
there's-
will hear me.
You have 4 months.
Absolutely. flaming.
4 months is a long time, okay? That's like 60-something days. Math.
That'd
Anyway,
be a
so-
really big controversy for them to have to stop a Disney movie.
I feel like I'd get some death threats.
I could
but
do
it'd
it.
be worth it.
I couldn't do it. Worth it, okay? Scott would be the best bodyguard, okay?
Wait, what? That's not true at all. That's not
Come at
true
me,
at all.
everybody. Scott will keep you back.
I've literally never
Scott,
been in a
you-
fight in my life.
Scott, you have the most rage out of the 3 of us.
Well, that's a totally different topic.
It's a close second for me, but you have the most rage. So by default, you're the one who has to stand up for the rest of us.
I almost can't argue with that, I guess. That logic makes some sense.
It's not much, but there's just
No,
a
it's-
little,
I agree.
little
There's
tiny.
just
All
a
you need
little
is a
bit.
shred. Just a shred.
That's it. You're at like a 98 of ready to blow your gasket. I'm like 96.1. We're close. 97.3 Boom FM. We're close. Okay.
CHBM.
So close,
FM.
but not quite there.
Anyway.
Anyways, this
I
is
don't know what we're
crazy.
talking
This is
about
just
anymore this episode.
this just got pushed to the top. Top Gun. That was smooth as rocks. Smooth as Santana.
To follow that up, Hot Shots, summer movie.
Hot Shots. Boom. Hot Shots 2. Probably.
I don't know when Hot Shots 2 came out.
I'm not sure either. I'm not sure why it came out, but I'm glad it did.
Airplane was 2nd of July as well.
Look at that. Boom. All these Air movies. Air Bud, probably.
Let's find out.
That
Doesn't qualify as a summer blockbuster, though. 1st of August, 1997.
There we go. Look at that.
5.1
But,
stars.
Damn, that's more than I would have thought. God damn, that's not my favorite dog movie.
Has the
just because it doesn't make me cry,
has the inferior Jeter in it, Michael Jeter,
as opposed to
as
Derek.
opposed to Derek.
Okay.
Anyway, now that
Anyways.
conversation is devolved,
Now that that's fallen apart, we've talked about Top Gun before, so I'll bounce off to the final movie on my list. Let's see if either of you guys can guess it.
Ghostbusters.
Nope,
wow, that's
wasn't a huge fan of it.
that's a solid. Really?
Yep.
So you didn't like Dana? Or
Oh,
or
Terminator
Zool?
2. We didn't talk about that.
Nope, not Terminator 2.
Well, we technically haven't talked about Star Wars at all.
No, we
But-
mentioned it off top, I believe.
Yeah,
I mentioned it.
Yeah,
We've done a whole Star Wars episode.
I know
so
it was
why don't we go
indirectly
into
mentioned.
that?
They released a lot of them before they did the new trilogy. Basically, is the point.
Yeah,
Almost all of
Yeah.
them in the summer
all of them.
Yeah.
All of them were summer before
this.
episode 7. Yeah.
And only Han Solo since then.
Yep.
Depending on when in May you classify
Yeah,
summer movie. Because it's before
Gladiator?
Andrew's cut
I think
off.
that one. I think no, not Gladiator. That is a fantastic movie, though. It should be on my list, but it's not.
Expendables.
Great movie. Love Gladiator. Nope. It's Shrek.
I was never gonna.
That's a
guess
good.
that.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't have guessed that either. But it's a good call.
Sneaky.
I like that. I don't remember if I saw that in theaters or not, but I do remember.
We would
I've
have
said this
been like 7, so maybe. But maybe.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's a kids' movie, so we would have.
It was
like,
2001,
it's more
wasn't it?
possible.
Yeah, 8.
Would've
Oh,
been
by the
8.
way, it's the 18th of May, so it's not a summer blockbuster.
It was on the summer block. Oh damn.
Yeah,
'cause
you
your
changed
summer-
the list.
Your
I
summer
take it back.
and the Hollywood summer are
Damn
different.
Damn it! Now I gotta take it off my list. I take it back. Shrek, you didn't make
Do you
it.
want to talk about Terminator 2 then instead?
You piece of shit. Shrek, you didn't make it.
You missed it by like 2 days because we don't know when the weekend was that year.
Son of the bitch.
It might have been the
Shrek,
weird
you
time it
ruined
fell
it.
on the 17th.
Probably.
It might-
But that's my
it might
list.
have been.
That is my list.
Okay, well, I've already just said 2 of the ones on my list that weren't on Andrew's, which were Ghostbusters and Terminator 2.
Yeah, I don't have anything. I don't really have anything to add on top of that.
Yeah, neither do I. I was
working
just
off
mentioning
the,
them.
I think Terminator 3 was also a summer blockbuster, was it
I
not?
feel like a bunch of them probably were. Like I said, my research on this topic was quite lacking, to be honest.
Yes, mine too. Well, we didn't talk about Alien.
There's a lot of movies
Well,
that
that's
came
what I was
out in the
thinking. I'm
summer.
like, it's so hard. Like, I can't go look through. Like, I was originally thinking, like, oh, maybe we should just like compare the ones since like the last 10 years, because then there's a possibility we've seen them all. Then I'm like, that's still hundreds of movies.
Exactly. Well,
there's
it,
a lot.
it
There's a lot of
depends.
movies that were technically
Because
blockbusters that did jack shit for me.
A summer release and a summer blockbuster are two completely different things.
Well, no, I agree.
Oh,
But even if
absolutely.
you do 10, like, what? How many blockbusters would you say come out a year? Even 10? If it's 10 a year
That
for the last
seems
10 years, that's
high.
100 right.
a blockbuster's a movie that makes that like blows everybody away.
Well, now we're getting. That's.
say there's-
I feel that's
I'd
a
say there's at
semantic-
least-
I feel like there's some.
I'd say
kind
there's
of
at
bar.
least 5 or 6.
I feel like there's some kind of
At
bar
least
of,
5
like,
or 6 a year.
They had to break a thing, or maybe like a budget bar, or I feel like it's not just a semantic. Oh, it was a breakout. 'Cause that's again.
A
That's,
thing of great power or size. So you
Well,
can't
I-
just be a release.
Well, but then you get the movies that are self-proclaimed blockbusters,
Yes.
where it's been out for like a day and a half, and it's the biggest movie in the world because it just got released and people had already seen Infinity War 17 times. So now this movie that's new is considered the biggest movie of the summer, the blockbuster event of the year. Get the fuck out of here.
So according to Wikipedia, a blockbuster is a work of entertainment, especially a feature film, but also other media that is highly popular and financially successful. The term has also come to refer to any large budget production intended for blockbuster status aimed at mass markets with associated merchandising, sometimes on a scale that means the financial fortunes of a film studio or a distributor would depend on it.
oh, so, yeah. I would guarantee there's been like every year close to 10 at least.
Well, by that
10
definition, absolutely.
10 seems high.
Well, I feel like you're
Close.
putting them all in the like Lord of the Rings Transformer
They
territory.
don't have to be absolutely annihilating, but 10 blockbuster movies seems real. Think about how many movies
Well, think
have
about-
come out this year. We'll
Yeah.
just talk about this year for the sake of it. Between our new made up May 25th date And
Oh wait, no, you
today-
can't do that. That takes 3 of the biggest blockbusters out
Doesn't
right
matter.
away.
You got to be consistent somewhere, Scott. You got to be
Well,
consistent somewhere.
that's the thing, though. We have to be either consistent with what Hollywood does or what because if we're going off what Andrew does, then we might as well just go with semantics.
we
let's
moved,
all
we
flip
moved
a
the
coin.
goalposts for the episode. May 25th.
So Andrew moved it for
currently.
himself. Infinity War is still a blockbuster for me, a summer blockbuster for me. I forget what my point was now, though. What were we talking about?
Oh, my point was that there's a lot of movies that come out that are like no one even cares about.
Well, no, I
So,
agree. There's
10
hundreds of movies
still
a year
seems
that
like
come
a
out.
high 10,
10
10 summer blockbusters seems
Well,
like a high
think
number.
about summer. Summer's 4
20,
months. That's
2017.
16 weeks minimum in the summer. Right? Like, how many weeks would you sign a summer? And there's one movie pretty much almost every week.
Well,
2017.
Yeah.
I'll
let's
I'll
get
pitch
some
this
actual
just for statistics. 2017. By our definition, by my
Oh,
definition of summer blockbuster, by my definition of summer blockbuster not coming in until at least the 25th of May, there was 13 described blockbuster movies throughout last summer. 13. Now, 4 of them, minimum, are movies that probably don't deserve it. They were probably self-proclaimed blockbusters.
Well, see, that's where it comes into like the big budget part. Like they were trying to be blockbusters, but then they were blocksucksters.
You
Is
mean
that
box
good?
office bombs?
No, I was trying to make a pun, but
I know, but it didn't work.
that's why
I feel like Suckbuster would have been better.
Suckbuster would have been way better.
I feel like you two just like to conspire against me.
Sometimes it
I'm
makes
like,
for
Scott,
interesting.
Scott, I was
process.
just on your side right there.
It makes for interesting podcasting, doesn't it, Scott?
Scott, I just backed you up on the 10 a year thing. Come on, man.
I know, and I thank you for that.
Everyone's against me.
However, I have to like take. The
I also
position
backed
of
you
being
up
that guy who's
Okay,
always
okay,
the
just
world's
to-
against me. It's part of where that anger comes from. Apparently, I'm the
That's it, that's
bodyguard
fire.
of the group now. I don't even know how that works.
Okay.
We literally live 100 kilometers away from each other.
100 kilometers.
Minimum.
Well,
I'm like 350 away from either of you.
that's why I said hundreds.
Oh, I heard 100.
I only heard 100, and I'm pretty sure so did our listeners. We'll put a poll up.
So going back to 2016.
You mean I'll put a
by
poll
my
up?
by my
Just Scott will put a poll up.
2016. That's it. 2016. As long as it's not that poll for Jessica Rabbit. Anyways,
So
2016
you still have
summer
the wrong
blockbusters.
person. Jessica Rabbit, I'm pretty sure, is from Space Jam.
No,
that's Lola Bunny.
Oh,
Oh my
Lola
God,
Bunny. Okay,
Scott.
I'm getting all
Get
the
your
names
head out of
mixed
your
up.
ass, Scott. Oh my god.
See,
I almost don't even want to share the statistic of that there being, by my definition of summer blockbuster, there's 11 summer blockbusters from 2016. Therefore, backing up your statistic again. 2015, there's less.
Well, yeah, because franchise has been growing lately.
Yeah. Cop Car. I've never even heard of Cop Car. How is that a summer blockbuster? If I haven't heard of it.
Well, now we're also getting into, are we classifying world ones too?
Well, no, that was a Kevin Bacon movie.
It is a
Oh,
Kevin
that's
Bacon
just
movie.
weird then.
With a
I've never heard
weird
that.
ass blonde mustache too.
Yeah.
Oh,
Blonde mustache.
Even when the
good
blo-
thing no.
you know,
It's a good thing no one knows it came out.
would have tanked his career.
He's better off, yeah,
We might have just single-handedly ruined Kevin Bacon's career.
by bringing
I
attention.
feel like we
to
do
it.
not have that power for
I
anything,
mean, he was in the greatest movie ever made.
according to Star Lord.
Yeah.
It was never
Is
the
this the
greatest,
movie ever made? It never was.
That's my
Anyways.
favorite line from Spider-Man ever because it's just so sassy. It's like, oh, Peter, I'm not used to you being so sassy. Ooh.
Well, especially because they've established him as a movie buff.
Yeah.
Like he's a cinephile.
Well, see, that's one thing I don't like though, is that he's always like referring to these super old movies. But I guess that's like a slight generational gap. I guess me being 5 years older than the kid.
Yeah. Well, he's like 15 years old, right?
Well, he's supposed to be. He's in real life. I think he's like 19, 20 now. But
Something like that. But he's like 15, 16 years old.
yeah, which
In the
which is why I
MCU,
like
so,
forgive
like-
it a bit because I'm like I must be just out of touch already because I'm like,
Yeah. I am. I know I am.
well, I was probably out of touch when we were in high school.
Like, I sat on my girlfriend's front porch this morning, in the pouring rain. I mean, granted, she has the awning over it to keep us dry. Sat there in a nice calming rain, drinking Earl Grey tea, and reading a book.
Nice. We're getting so sophisticated.
At bare minimum, I'm 60 years old. Bare minimum. Craig gave me that.
That's my number.
So
Sounds about accurate. Yeah.
I am extremely out of touch with the youth.
That's about the only number I could hit accurately today.
But is that it? Are we done?
I think we've run that topic to the ground as best
Yeah.
we could.
It was really in the ground when we started.
Now that we're infighting now, it's enough. We need to move on.
We never fight. We
Craig-
playfully disagree.
Speaking of fighting, Craig, hit me with your WWWTW.
Well,
list.
this week I watched some Archer, obviously.
Of course.
Obviously.
It's good time-consuming stuff, really. That's what it's there for. I watched the entirety of this new series, Disenchantment, which is the Matt Groening animated series.
I'm 2 episodes in. Does it get better?
It doesn't get any more entertaining.
So it's just mind numbing?
It's something to watch. It's no Simpsons and it's no Futurama, but it is kind of funny, and it's entertaining. If only so you
Personally,
can watch Eric Andre be the personal demon.
Yeah. I think it's too long. I think the episodes are just too long.
They're a half hour.
Yeah,
so they're
that's
10 minutes
too much
longer,
for what it
or
is.
7 minutes longer than they should be.
Yeah. I think they're just a touch too long.
It's all right.
Bring back Toast, okay? Get rid of the show and give me more Toast of London. That's all I want.
Well, he's in it.
It's not enough.
Matt Berry.
I don't want to just hear his
Matt Berry
voice.
is a character in that show.
I don't want to just hear his voice as a beautiful prince. I want to see his beautiful
Just
face.
imagine
and his
it being
beautiful
Stephen
hair.
Toast doing voice acting.
Steven, it's Clem Fandango. Can you hear me?
So I watched that. It's pretty good. It's it's watchable. That's for sure. It's not as funny as Futurama, but it tries to be, but it isn't. What else did I watch? I watched an episode of the X-Files. One episode in particular. It's called Home. It's supposed to be their most messed up episode. Apparently it aired on Fox once, and they never aired it again.
I think I know which one you're talking about
What's
too.
that? I did not hear that. What are we talking about?
The X-Files episode called Home.
Okay.
It aired once and it's never been on television again.
Is that the one with like the
Okay.
inbred family or something
Yes.
like that? Yep. That one's fucked up.
The kids find the baby that they buried alive because it had so many medical deformities. And so these kids find it buried in a field when they're playing baseball, and he kicks at the fresh dirt and blood comes up, and then there's the inbred family and the mother with no limbs, and she's strapped to the bed. It's
a fucked up episode.
Yeah, I had to start it twice. Like I watched it, I started to watch it, and then I got to the part with the kid kicking the dirt and the blood, and I was like, nope, I don't think I can handle this. And then I went back to it because curiosity got the best of me. I had to see why it only aired once, and it's
it makes sense.
Now you know.
makes so much sense that they only put it on once, because I can't believe that it ever aired.
Yeah.
It's funny because
It's a series crippler from what it sounds like.
But they
could
kept
be.
going.
See, that's the funny thing about it.
Well, it's because they buried it.
That's also the X-Files.
Star Wars.
They got their
Star Wars Christmas specialed it. They buried it.
They got their alive. They buried it alive.
Because it has so many deformities.
Exactly. What a weird metaphor for itself.
Yep.
That's so I watched that.
It works though.
It was good, but it was just messed up.
It's a messed
Fucked
up.
up.
I remember. So I've watched that episode before I knew about this like little fact that it had been taken off TV, and that episode always sticks out to me as the one I hated the most about X-Files.
Yeah.
Because it's so like out of place. It feels like a horror film a little bit, like almost like one that would mess with me. Like it's just,
and it's super dark, so you don't actually see anything. It's just noises in the background the entire time because their house is always boarded up, and
So
and then the death, so much death.
Yeah,
and
it was
then
a really
the scene,
dark episode for them.
The scene where they go to the sheriff's house, and they get in the car, and you don't actually see the guys, and the haunting 50s song that's played in the background the entire time while they're beating him to death in his own freaking house.
Which song is it?
I couldn't even tell you what the song is.
It's haunting.
It's haunting in that context, because it's kind of It's
Just
it's,
eerie the
it's
way it is. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a typical 50s kind of like rock song. So it's a little bit bouncy and a little bit cheery and.
But everything's all black and grim.
See, it's not
Okay.
it's not Dream Lover by Bobby Darin, but that's the song that comes to mind.
That's a phenomenal song.
I love that song.
You're a dream lover. I don't have to dream alone.
Exactly, but it's not that song. But that's what
Is it a Bobby Darin song?
It's not a Bobby Darin song. But that's
God.
like now when I'm thinking about the scene, that song comes to my head because I've been listening to it repeatedly for the past few days. I can't remember why. It was in something. I watched the most recent episode of Explained about it was called Can We Live Forever? It's about aging and anti-aging and mostly about gene editing.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Could it be the song Wonderful by Johnny Mathis?
It's probably that. Did you look that up?
I googled X-Files home song and then Wonderful by Johnny Mathis came
That's
up.
probably it then.
And it's in an old 50s car.
Yep.
So
Yeah, in a Cadillac.
Yep.
It's a Cadillac convertible, and
Yep.
the brothers hop into it, and get out and the song's playing the entire time on the radio, and they get out and they beat the cop to death, and they get back into it and drive away with the song playing. It's haunting.
Yeah.
haunting, yeah.
Haunting. I started this new series on Netflix called Magic for Humans.
Okay.
And I'm not usually a guy who watches the magic TV shows because I think that there's way too much camera trickery going on.
Yeah.
But
I don't like the way
this
they
one is
present them sometimes.
fairly entertaining.
Is it?
Mostly because it's
I
supposed to be in like these. It's supposed to be organic. They say there's no camera tricks, but I mean, most of the magic is all right. But there's a couple tricks that like there was one especially. It's in the second or the third episode. Just like blew my mind. I have no idea how he did it. No idea. And it's kind of funny. He's fairly entertaining. Justin Willman, I think his name is.
See, I usually like magic stuff. Like I really liked the Now You See Me. I really liked the I'm drawing a blank on the movie. The Hugh Jackman one, The Prestige.
Yep. The Prestige
them.
is a life-changing movie.
Yeah.
Loved that movie. Everything about it. But I saw the preview that they have on Netflix for this Magic for Humans, and it just the stupidity
It's better
of
than
the advertisement.
It's better than the
turned me
trailer.
off. Is it? Because that trailer, I was like,
Yeah, the trailer didn't really
that
sell
was-
me, but I figured, you know what, I'll give it a shot. I got nothing else to watch, and it's better than the trailer.
okay. Because the trailer, I think I saw it on Instagram or something.
Yeah,
It came up, and where he like smashes the cell phone, and then gives the cameraman a white version of that cell phone, and the cameraman's like, my phone was black. And I was like, that was fucking stupid. Why'd I just watch 40 seconds of that? Like, I'm part of the problem.
Watch the trailer on Netflix.
I don't know if... I guess I will. I will.
The trailer
I'll give it a shot.
The trailer on Netflix sounds better than the trailer you're talking about, and the show is better than the trailer on Netflix.
Okay. I'll give it a shot then.
Yeah, it's entertaining enough. Like it keeps you busy, and I don't know if either of you guys are familiar with Tim and Eric, but it's produced by the guys behind that sketch show.
It sounds familiar.
Yeah, that's what I thought too. I'd never actually seen any of it until now. I know who. Well, Eric Wareheim is what's his name? Is his name Arnold on Master of None?
Oh, yeah,
Aziz
yeah.
Ansari's
Okay.
friend, the
Yeah,
big guy.
yeah.
So,
Arnold, yeah.
Yeah, he's Eric Wareheim, and then Tim Heidecker is the other guy. They're Tim and
Okay.
Eric, and they produced this show. So that kind of explains the entertainment value of it because they're friggin' weird guys.
Yeah, Eric's super weird.
Exactly. I watched Popstar, the
Good movie, good movie.
I saw that get added to Netflix, and I'm like, oh,
It's just
that's a real thing.
matter of time until Craig watches that.
I watched that in theaters the same day that Craig watched another Andy Samberg movie at home, and that's when we realized our lives were intersected.
Was that the day that I watched 7 Days in Hell?
This would have been when it was in theaters. I don't know when 7 Days in Hell came out.
It was a while ago. When did Popstar come out?
Like 2 years
at
ago.
least 2 or 3 years ago.
Well, I just saw it this weekend. Or
I haven't seen it.
I
I honestly
I-
couldn't sit through.
I watched it
don't
on
think.
Sunday on my birthday. It was hell entertaining. That's a
Happy
thing I don't
belated
even
birthday.
say.
But you watched
They're-
it. Now you do say hella.
Yeah, because it's worth it. No, they do a TMZ spoof that's just absolutely hilarious with Will Arnett doing the lead.
Because Will Arnett's amazing.
Will Arnett is amazing. Let me see when 7 Days in Hell came out. 2015. So yeah, it probably would have
Okay,
been.
I guess it would have been.
Yeah, so you would have seen it in theaters the day I was watching the day I was watching 7 Days in Hell.
That sounds about right.
Yeah. And then we basically watched it opposite of each other the next time, except not quite as close. So I watched Popstar. That movie's funny. And the last thing I watched, because you guys have recommended it, so I left it to the end. I watched Hail Caesar.
Oh, nice.
That movie is so weird,
Yeah,
but also
amazing.
hilarious
it's
and
great.
amazing. Yeah, exactly. I love that movie.
Oh yeah, definitely. It just. I need to rewatch
Because
it already.
everyone and their grandmothers in it.
Yeah,
Exactly.
everyone.
There's so
And their
many people
grandmother.
in that movie.
and they're all just having a good time. You could I don't know. I feel like they're having a good time. I feel like this was a fun movie to make, and that always makes me kind of enjoy a movie a little bit more.
Yeah.
Like, just the cast is great. I could talk about that forever.
Maybe we'll talk about that at a later date. Maybe if we,
We'll do a whole Coen Brothers.
That'd
Yeah,
be a
we'll-
fun episode, actually.
that would be a fun episode.
Putting in the episode lists. 40, 80, some 54.
Yeah, it's gonna be back there somewhere. But if you didn't watch that and you didn't watch Popstar, Scott, then what the heck did you watch this week?
What did I watch this week? Well, I watched my normal stuff as always. You know, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Star Trek, and Supernatural. Parts unknown because you gotta have a cooking show in there. But I finally watched, because it came out on DVD and Blu-ray and all that fun stuff, Avengers Infinity War again. Hence why me and Andrew were making quotes, because it's fresh enough in my mind I can make a quote from it. So yeah, I watched that. I just rented it online because I haven't decided to go buy a DVD yet because I'm so cheap. But anyway, so I watched that. I also watched Blade Trinity because it was the 20th anniversary of the first Blade movie, which was not on Netflix, so I watched the third one. Yeah, that's all I have to say about that. I still like it. That was the first time I saw Ryan Reynolds in a movie,
Okay.
which he had been in like Van Wilder and other like comedies and stuff before
Yeah.
that, but that was the first time I was saw him, and it was the first time like Jessica Biel wasn't in Seventh Heaven. So that's the things about that movie that sticks out to me when I remember first
I
watching it.
loved that movie.
Same
That was
here.
actually the first Blade movie I watched.
That makes sense to me.
And that's what made me say, I'm going to go back and watch the other ones. And I was like, fuck!
They're great.
It was amazing. So good.
They're so good. I love them. So it was a fun rewatch checking out that again. But yeah, so besides all the normal things I watch every week, the only other new thing I watched was the Star Wars Resistance trailer. I don't know if either. Doubt Craig saw this. Andrew, did you see
I
this?
Saw the announcement
not.
for it.
You saw
'cause
the
I'm
announcement
still
for
a
it.
tiny bit in touch, but I did not
Okay.
watch the trailer.
I didn't think you watched it. Andrew, did you watch it?
I did not.
Okay, so this is just their next animated series. This is even more kiddie than Rebels was. I feel like they're
Oh my goodness.
slowly going even more Disney with each of them. So I don't know if I'll be keeping up with this one on like any kind of week-to-week basis. I might check it out if it gets added to something. I believe it's supposed to be like their, like the crown thing of their. Oh no, it's on the Disney Channel. So yeah, no. So it's just going straight Disney. It looked okay.
Oh.
One cool thing is they do have the real voice actors from like Poe and a couple other ones like that in it a couple times, and it takes place like 5 years before The Force Awakens. But yeah, other than that, it looks very, which I've always defend Star Wars for being a kid's thing, but they're normally a little more friendly to us older people who like to live in the past. And this
The
one I feel like
nostalgia.
is maybe going a little too, like we were mentioning before, Teen Titans Go, like maybe a little too kiddie on that aspect. But I did like the animation style. It's different. It's different for me at least. Like I don't watch that many cartoons, and it definitely sticks out in that sense. But yeah, other than that, that's all my thoughts really had on that. I made a video about it already, so
And that's all I have to say about that.
yes. But what did you watch this week, Andrew?
Okay, I have quite a long list.
That's good.
this
'Cause
week.
mine was
Hit us
super
with
short.
it.
This is what happens when you break your foot and you can't work.
Yeah, you didn't do anything
read
this week.
comic books and you watch movies. Okay? So I'm not going to try a Barney Stinson recap like I did last week because there's just too much.
Yeah,
I finished Arrow season 6.
nice.
binge watched it. Felt like it was a good enough season, but it was also it started a lot better than it finished.
That's the general consensus from, I would say, like
Yeah.
audiences. A lot of people liked the way it was starting, didn't love the way it ended.
I did actually like the villain for the first half. I can't remember his name. Caden James.
Yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah, he was pretty good.
The hacktivist. I liked him as being the thing because the tech angle for a bad guy isn't something we've seen so far.
Yeah, especially
in the Arrowverse.
versus
Like,
him. He couldn't just go shoot an arrow
Yeah.
at this guy. It was like, you had to be
Yeah.
a little bit more smart with it, yeah.
And then when you bring in like this evil like thug mobster as the bad guy, I was like, this is, I don't know. I feel like Oliver Queen could outsmart this guy. Like, put an arrow in the back of his head. Just do it. Like it felt like it was building up to bigger things, and I think they did use it as a stepping stone towards season 7.
Definitely, yeah.
Where they're trying to do it, but like you can see that it's coming to an end in the next few years. Like they're running out of ideas.
Yeah.
Especially when they keep like casting off characters and then bringing them back in for one episode for a little thing.
And in
then
their
casting
defense,
them
they're limited because like DC's movie universe like limits them from
Yeah.
being allowed to do certain crossovers or bringing in characters from the comics because they're like, oh, we might want to use that for a movie or another TV show or an animated series, et cetera, et cetera,
Oh,
et cetera, et
absolutely.
cetera.
Just I hate that they'll have a character and then just he'll leave the show, out of his own validity or whatever. He'll leave the show, but then they'll bring them back for one episode. And to me it's like they keep doing it with Roy Harper.
Yeah.
We've seen it a bunch of times over. Like I think we went 2 years without seeing him over the last since last.
And then he
time we
came
saw
back and was kind of chubby.
I loved Roy. Like right from the get go. Season 1, I loved Roy as a character.
Yeah.
He was
interesting.
To me, he was the exact same as like Ollie was as a kid, but he had that question, that what have I done with my life question that was in Ollie's head as an adult.
Yeah.
He was like, and I like that. And I really would like to see them bring him back and maybe go like the Red Arrow or Arsenal direction that they used in Young Justice.
Yeah.
Where they have him as a clone. Like that would be amazing.
That'd have been crazy. But it would have fit.
Just come in and say they stumble upon a hive base somewhere.
Yeah.
Go back to season 4. Go back to season 4. You stumble upon a hive base, and they've got these clones underneath. Okay, whatever. And one of them's Roy. Bring back Ragman. Okay, bring back Jobs. Okay, bring back Ragman because I loved him, and not just because the actor was in Train 48. That's not the only.
That's
reason.
half the reason.
Even though that's like 70% of the reason.
Definitely.
But that's not the whole reason.
Okay, it's 95% of the reason.
Okay, you know what? It's 100% of the reason. But I don't care. Okay, I liked him. Okay, like I hate that they leave the question mark every time they send someone off.
Yeah.
Or someone dies. Like I know Paul Blackthorne's done.
Yeah,
Like,
which
it
I was
just-
super sad about.
But he was one of those characters like. I don't think they really used him well after they transitioned into the political aspect of it and him not being a police officer.
Well, I think
They didn't this whole season they didn't really use him.
I think that was part of him leaving though too. Like I think he was already I think he told them like I think it's gonna be my last season, guys, so that they could make it a little bit, or getting into my last season. You know what I mean? So they could build something.
I
for
feel
him.
like they should to stuff like that. I don't like seeing them water down characters. I want to see them just let them go.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or give them make them a very important character and send them off in the right direction. Don't just like have them do guest appearances and then leave. Like what they did with Thea this year. And I know she the actress hasn't wanted to be on the show.
Yeah,
in a couple
which
years.
I think is
she
a little
wanted
bit
less
what
and less
plays
and
into
less.
some of this sometimes. Like I think that was what happened with Roy. I think he was the one who wanted to leave because he was like, oh, I'm becoming super famous now. Then he left and I don't remember his name.
Colton Haynes.
That was just a joke. Yeah,
I think.
it's Colton something.
Anyways, I finished Arrow.
Nice.
I watched Infinity War.
Of course.
And then I got some terrible news when I finished it. Was that my girlfriend hated it.
Yes.
Kendall
ex-girlfriend.
hated it. Hated it. And it was just one of those things. I was like, I'm not even gonna.
So my first question, because I didn't want to get into this over like the text message when you said this to us, but has she seen any all of the other ones, or is she one of those?
Most of them. She's missing a few here and there, but she has seen 90% of them. She knows of all the characters that are in
she wasn't lost being like, who's that guy? Why is Spider-Man making jokes?
she really liked it, at least from what I could see.
Yeah.
Really liked it up until Peter Quill pistol whips Thanos. And then after that, she started questioning stuff. And then Thanos beats them. And she hated the cliffhanger ending. And I was like, it's a 2-part movie.
That's the best.
Well, that's
part
also
of it.
that's also
like
everybody like putting their
Thanos
own thing
movie.
of like, oh, it's a 2-parter, and it's like, well, or it just ended that they lost.
Like,
I prefer
like
that.
to me, it's like there's more coming. Like, just wait for it. Who cares? Like, it was an amazing climax.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's better
It was just
watching
a
that
fanta-
movie not knowing it's a 2-part movie though, because that's
That's
how I
true,
went
yeah.
in and watched it.
Yeah,
I had no
exactly.
idea because I'm ridiculously out of touch, and then you get to the end, and you're like, "That's it," and then they did a thing at the end, and you're like, "Oh, well, obviously it's a 2-part movie," but
Obviously, son of a bitch.
damn it, I
But yeah,
love
so that-
anti-endings. Oh,
So I watched Infinity War again. I finished Parks and Rec. I watched it too hard, too fast, and now I'm done.
that's okay because there's always more Train 48.
Always.
Even when you
there's
think you're
infinite Train
finished,
48.
because it just keeps going.
You know, when you finish Train 48, when you think you get to Oshawa, it takes you right back. It's the whole GO train
Yep.
from one end to the other, back and back and back.
Yep.
So I watched that.
Geography
Finish that.
references.
So yeah, so I watched Train 48. I watched The Judge last night,
Okay.
which I think I've mentioned that movie to you guys before. Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, you made a
Robert
video
Duvall.
about it.
Yes, I've seen that.
That is, I did.
That was
I
your
did do
first-
The Judge. I
That was
did.
your first brunch.
Binge watching at brunch. Yeah.
It's the only reason I know
Amazing
that
movie.
movie exists.
Amazing movie.
Yeah, I
Watch
liked it.
it
I
used
keep
to be on
forgetting to
Netflix,
be
and they
honest.
took
I've
it
been
down.
meaning to. It's 'cause, I love Robert Downey. It's Robert Downey Jr. in there, right?
Yeah.
I thought so.
Yeah, it is. It's him. It's Robert Duvall.
Duvall, that's the other one. Yeah.
And it's Vincent
D'Onofrio. Yep. Billy
Yeah.
Bob Thornton, Dax Shepard,
With Billy-
Jeremy
yeah.
Strong.
Yep. It's an amazing movie, like heavy hitter cast, but it's most movies I find like they'll give you an issue at the beginning, like a very subtle issue, and then they'll tie it up at the end, and then there's just stuff in between. Like there's one big circle.
Yeah.
Or one thing that comes full circle. This movie, there's something at the beginning, something at the end that brings the full circle, but then there's a lot of little full circles. Like just
okay.
they'll introduce something like the answer, and then they'll give you the question a couple minutes later,
I got
and you're
you.
like, oh shit! Like it's one of the best movies I've ever seen, and it's so well done. It tugs on your heartstrings, and just watch it.
Yeah, I'll have to check it out.
Watch it. So, speaking of tugging on your heartstrings, I watched Only the Brave, that firefighter movie I've watched before.
Yeah.
Watched that last night as well. Maybe teared up a little bit. I'm not going to go into too much about that because it bums me the fuck out.
It happens.
But you should watch it. I watched Shrek 1 and Shrek 2 today,
Oh, okay.
just as
The
time
not
wasters.
summer movies.
Yeah, the not summer movies, the ones that are not summer blockbusters because they came in too early. I watched the first 2 episodes of Disenchantment,
Yeah.
which
Were you
I was
disenchanted
hap-
by it?
A little bit. Elfo is
Irritating as all
just-
hell.
yeah,
I
because he's a
can't
green Smurf.
Stand
He's a green
his
Smurf.
character at all.
He's a
the
green
entire
Bart.
show.
If you took a Smurf
Yep.
who fucked Bart Simpson, you'd get Elfo, who just happens to be green.
Except without being anywhere near as entertaining of a character as Bart Simpson.
Yes. Appearance-wise, Bart Simpson. Annoyingness, Smurf, color green. That's Elfo. And that's all I'm going to say about that. I also watched some Toast of London again because that show is the best show ever made. Ever made.
Even better
Okay?
than Train 48.
Okay, don't go. Okay, maybe it wasn't. Maybe it wasn't the best. Toast of London's
So
phenomenal.
backpedal
And
that
I
right
also-
away.
right away, because Train 48 is perfect. I also found out that YouTube has every episode of Dave the Barbarian.
What?
Yeah, Dave the Barbarian is on
Why
YouTube.
is that familiar to me?
Barbarian, Barbarian. It was a Disney
Okay.
cartoon from our
Used to
from our
love
childhood.
watching Dave the Barbarian on
Yes.
Family Channel.
Yep, it was actually Kendall and I watched that on Sunday morning. Monday morning? No, it would have been Sunday morning. It was amazing. Fantastic to just get some nostalgia in first thing on a Sunday morning I stand by it.
2004 to 2005.
I think there's like 42
I
episodes.
can't believe. Yeah, there's one season.
All on YouTube. All on YouTube. I highly recommend it to both of you, just for something to do.
No one's
just for
no
background
one
noise.
useful is in it. However,
Not even no.
No one useful said.
No. No one who has any type of fantastic career.
okay. So the guy who plays Dave the Barbarian, his name is Danny Cooksey, and
It's a kid, isn't it?
if you look it up on IMDb, he's a kid.
It's a kid picture.
Yeah, but he was
Yeah.
born in 1975.
What?
I know.
Oh my
I clicked on it to be like, what? He's that young? What else is he in? And then I looked at it, and his thing says he was born on November 2nd, 1975. And I was like, why?
The jabbers.
Why would you? Why is that?
All
your
the
only,
questions.
Why is that your
All
only
of
thing?
the questions.
You've been in so much stuff. Well, not really, but
You were Dave.
he's been in things. He was in the Lorax. He mostly
There's
just
nothing
does.
for
Just,
me.
just naming stuff I've never heard of.
He just mostly does kid stuff, actually. Phineas and Ferb.
Words.
He was in Meet the Robinsons, the video game.
Probably a Meet
He
the
was
Robinsons
in Kim
movie.
Possible.
Do 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 do.
He was in
What's the sit?
Recess, taking the 5th grade.
Oh, I loved
Great movie.
Recess.
He was in Pepper Ann.
Back to stuff I don't know.
I remember that.
He was
show.
in 101
You know-
Dalmatians, the series.
Oh,
He was
damn.
in The Little Mermaid, the TV series.
So he just worked for Disney.
Yeah,
He had a
was-
lifetime
he was-
contract with
He
Disney.
was Disney.
Why would we go that far?
He
We
was
know
in,
him a lot better.
He was in Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventures, the TV series.
Holy shit! They have full episodes of Kim Possible on YouTube too.
I can't believe.
Oh my
that
goodness
He was
gracious.
in Different Strokes. That's what he was popular for. I knew it. Well, I didn't know that, but I knew he was in something that I'd seen. He
Okay.
was in the
Who'd
Duke-
have guessed that? Who'd have guessed that fucking Dave the Barbarian would get us so intense?
Well, it's because I hadn't thought about Dave the Barbarian until you brought it up. In
Barbarian.
years, I haven't thought of Dave the Barbarian.
Watch it. Just
still
go
have
do it.
no idea who
Relive
Dave
a little
is.
bit of your childhood.
Man, didn't you
Google
watch
him.
cartoons as a kid?
Yeah, but I watched good ones.
That was a good
Dave
one.
the Barbarian was
You
amazing.
take
It's
that
so
back.
stupid. I will fight you
Right now.
to the death.
I told you guys I've never heard of it. I don't know if it's good or not. It's a joke.
I will grab you by the nuts and then electrocute you in a shower, damn it. So
Well, that's a weird direction.
I
that
watched-
went.
that was a Toast of London
Okay,
reference.
well, you gotta clarify these things for our audience' sake.
No, they
Well,
all
they
watch
can
it.
just
You're
make
the
it
only
obvious.
one. You're the only
Watch
one
the
who
things
hasn't
that I
watched it.
watch. Speaking of which, Craig, speaking of Toast, I just Googled it a couple minutes ago. He has guaranteed a 4th season.
They're making another one?
They're going to make another one. It's a coming.
Yes.
So, I also watched Justice League Death of Superman,
Nice.
the new animated movie. It's great. Not going to talk too much about it because I don't want to spoil
Yeah, I
it
haven't
for
seen it
Scott
yet.
because he's going to love it. So, I'm going to move on. I watched Deadpool 2
Nice.
because it came out on Tuesday this week. So, I went out, purchased it right away, watched it. Still stands up. It was still a pretty good movie.
Oh yeah. It's only been 3 months. Not even.
Yep,
2 months.
yep. Still great. Still very much enjoy that they have the James Bond intro. It's still fantastic.
Yeah. It's true.
I watched Tom Segura's Completely Serious for the first time in quite a bit. And that man is hilarious.
He never stops being funny.
No, never. And I think it's just because he says stuff that'll pop into your head every once in a while in passing. Like very ignorant or like dickish stuff. But he says it and like he just genuinely means it.
Sup, champ?
Sup, King? What was that you? No, it wasn't me. What you took? Bikes. Bikes!
The one that usually makes it into my head is, you tell that motherfucker I appreciate it. For for completely inexplicable reasons.
Yeah, yeah. Tell that
It's just-
motherfucker I
If
appreciate
someone
it.
says I appreciate it, that instantly. It's usually at work. It never comes out.
And it's never an appropriate setting.
Never. There's never a good time to say that.
Could you imagine, like, you're at work, one of your clients says, hey, listen, you don't have to come in. The boss says you don't have to come in today because we dealt with the issue, or it doesn't, you have more pressing stuff, you can come later. And you're like, tell that motherfucker I appreciate it. What did you just say?
Prove it. Prove I said that.
Craig works in mysterious ways, and then hang up. Fit 2 jokes into 1. So I watched that, and then the last thing I watched, and honestly, I can't believe I watched it. It was the miracle that was the Toronto Argonauts winning their 3rd game of the year.
By 1
Second home game.
By
Back to back.
1 point.
Back to back home games. # win by 1. Okay? This isn't TV. I was there, but I watched it, so it counts. And that's it. That's my list.
So that's the end.
Go Riders.
That's the end of the episode, then I take it.
That is the end of the episode. Much like the
That's
summer
the
season
road.
for Blockbusters, it ends.
Now that we've come to the end of the road. That's Boys to Men.
Oh, that's why I don't know it.
Yep.
I was like, am I supposed to know this one?
It sounded like
you forgot to grow
an
up.
Eagles song, kind of.
Sounded like a bit
April
any
1?
number of things I was supposed to sing along to that I was like, nope, I don't know the words. But anyways.
I knew he was alone on that one.
Oh,
Yeah, I knew I was alone.
that's fair. Thanks for listening this week, guys.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.